Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Sentrama Masterclass. In attendance at today's Masterclass, we have sales, revenue, and marketing-focused leaders from across the UK and the US as we explore how you can be booking sales appointments without lifting a finger. Shortly, I'll introduce our speakers for today's session, who will be walking us through Sentrama's market-leading approach to generating a valuable new business pipeline. Towards the end of the session, there will be an opportunity to ask questions, so please use the chat function throughout the masterclass to do so. Our hope is that you, as leaders, will walk away with actionable insights, be in a better position to benchmark current practices and further your understanding on how to best act in the current market. So please allow me to introduce our two speakers for today's session. First up is Robbie McGregor. Robbie is a seasoned B2B sales and marketing expert with over 15 years of experience selling into the world's largest organizations. As Managing Director of Sentrama, his legendary team specialise in human-driven lead generation strategies and empower sales teams to engage, convert with ideal clients through innovative, personalised outreach. Our second speaker is Roman Rose. Roman is a transformational technology leader with experience spanning across 5 years, successfully supporting sales organizations globally. As co-founder of Sentrama, Roman has shaped the market-leading service that Sentrama offers today. Roman and Robbie, I'll hand it over to you. Please take it away.
Thanks, Callum. Roman, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Shall we jump straight in?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. So topic today is all about booking sales appointments without lifting a finger. Okay, that's quite compelling, really, when you think about it. Where do we start, Roman? I think it all starts with this hot topic of automation. So I'm just going to open the door handle for you here and let you in. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, cool. Automation. So I'm usually, I'll be honest with you, I'm usually the nerd that gets shipped in on sales calls or technical calls to get to the bottom of what we can do and what's possible. And I think in today's age is quite literally anything is possible. From automating the activities that go out on the various B2B channels, which we'll talk about, all the way through to HubSpot and integrating AI to qualify leads. I mean, we're really talking some really amazing things with a goal to really save salespeople time. So, Robbie, I'll pass it back over to you, but that's really the goal here, right? With automation, is save people time.
That's the obvious thing here. Is it's all about saving time and cost. People think they can just set up this automatic funnel, and when they come to actually trying to get to A, be set up and B, be working for them, it's incredibly hard to do, despite what the softwares will tell you, and the marketing literature will tell you. So I think automation all comes with a huge message that you need to be careful. You need to not spam people. You can't spray and pray anymore. It did work once upon a time. And you have to work on the right message, the right person, the right time. So I think it's important to say it's all about focusing on what really matters. Yes, you can use automation for data, and you can certainly use automation for the top of the funnel. And there is a need to make sure that you're setting this up properly. So maybe we could talk around that a little bit, Roman, in terms of setting up automation and the sorts of things to look for. I think we can be wise enough that people know about softwares and what's possible, but maybe we can talk about the right disciplines that you need to take.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the cool thing with ChatGPT and OpenAI that you guys have all either using to write emails you don't want to write anymore and all that sort of stuff. It from a quality perspective on automation, I think that's really changing the game. So whether that trickles down to what you're talking about, Robbie, or just improved use, I think that's really where, at least when I get to my slide, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about as well.
Absolutely. I think it's probably important to define here that there are technologies for LinkedIn automation. There are technologies for email automation. I think one of the key things that you need to be aware of, guys, is automation for calling as well. It's almost like in the last 2 years, The whole industry's gone full circle. We've been through this journey of everybody using LinkedIn automation, then everybody using email automation, and now it tends to be kind of full funnel using a combination of LinkedIn, email, and then also taking the warm data from that automation and creating data that can be called, which is a real secret weapon. So the good old telephone now is by far the sharpest tool in the box when it's set up properly through some automation practices. So I think the other piece there, Roman, is automations allow us to see quality as well. You can get a lot of the MQL process, marketing qualified lead process, and sales qualified lead process put through dashboards and through performance methods that allow you to focus on the right people at the right time with your outreach. Have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Where do I begin? I think let's move on to the next slide, and then I can give you a bit more details onto that then. So as sales and marketing leaders, automation, why do you want to do it, right? You want to get more out of your team for your current spend, or you want to reduce the spend. So it all starts with volume. So how do we get more volume out? Well, that's simple, right? Automation. When we talk about the three main B2B channels that we use, at least, is LinkedIn, email, and the phone. So when it comes to automating those individual channels, they all come with limitations. But I think the key thing is when you're doing more activities on those channels is how do you get in front of the other people that are using potentially the same tools. So if they're using tools to automate, for example, email, right? What's going to differentiate you in the prospect's inbox versus your competitor or someone else using it? So when it comes to volume, we have to be really careful in that we're not just sending anything out. So how do we do that? We use really cool things like AI to personalize images and to personalize the openers of those emails. And we do that by essentially we have our own AI model, which is trained on identifying the pain points, right? Because if someone writes to you and says, do you suffer from this, and dangles a carrot, which is I have the solution, then you're more likely to engage than someone that just says, please buy our lead generation service, right? So it's all about using the volume that you can now leverage with technology that exists within the marketplace, but then using it to tactically actually convert. And that I think comes back to your quality piece, Robbie, which is, you can't just send out an email. It has to be coherent. It has to make sense. It has to attract the person's attention. So I think take automation that it increases your volume, but we need to be tactical in terms of where we then point it. So if I just talk about the top of the funnel and what we can do in terms of automation from a data acquisition perspective, okay, the right databases that need to automatically collect the data on that person for you to create, for example, the personalization that you want to send out, right? What data points do you have? Are those being collected properly? Do they adhere to GDPR? That's something that we take really seriously here at Sentrama. And people underestimate, I think, the technology that requires to actually collect that information. Then we move on to data validation. What we've collected, is that correct, right? Is it the right, for example, experience listed on their LinkedIn profile? Like, do we have different data sources that validates that, right? We use a bunch of different databases to collate that information and take the one that seems the most relevant and accurate. So there's a tons of detail I could go into that. Then we go to the activity, which is the volume piece, LinkedIn, email, on the phone, getting the activities out in those channels. I mean, something that we use that I don't think a lot of people is an AI dialer. So that essentially leverages AI to look at the likelihood of someone picking up based on their job role at a certain time of day. So, okay, when should we make the call to that person? For example, if it's a certain number that's been dialed already by our system, what was the likelihood of them picking up? So then how many dials can we do at the same time so that we can get in front of as many people as possible? So there's a lot of activity automation, but again, starts with data, and that data allows you to personalize that high level automation from a volume perspective. And then reporting, I mean, it's like anything, right? If you have a well-oiled car machine, car engine, you want to be able to make sure that you got the stats to be able to run that properly, make sure that you're getting the right conversions, which goes down to quality. And if we look at a funnel that considers all those points, and now I'm bumbling along, which I was told not to do. You know, our tech stack does all of that, right? So it takes care of all of this for you. Now there are definitely tools in the market that does elements, but I would say that they definitely don't do the whole process like we do. And because of baseline conversion rates throughout the different processes and steps within our technology, we're able to offer you guys a KPI reassurance, because we know that whatever we put in the top at a worst case scenario, we're going to get X% convert through. So we're able to say, okay, if you become a customer of ours, you know, we'll KPI reassure you to X a number of appointments depending on the space and industry that you operate in. So all of those points together sort of bring in a nice ROI, which for you guys, you don't have to lift a finger, right? There's definitely been a lot of fingers being tapped away at a keyboard for a long time to create the tech, but for you guys, it means you really don't have to lift a finger.
I think it's really important there, Roman, is there are stages to all of this, aren't there? There is the data build and being really sophisticated about that, and that's another masterclass for another time. And there's lots that can be done with data. Which, if you like, if you're building a rocket ship of automation and booking yourself sales appointments as a sales or marketing professional or business owner, like the majority of the audience here, the data piece is critical, and actually you need to be spending time on that and getting it built properly. So if you want to be booking sales appointments without lifting a finger, you need to be able to give that to a data specialist who knows what they're doing, can pull from the right sources, can clean the data, and can really get it set up so the targeting is going in the right direction. I don't know about you, Roman, but the countless messages I receive, and I see them and I'm like, that's got nothing to do with me. Someone needs to go back to their data, basically. That's the critical piece. Is it all starts with data and data quality. And at Sentrama, we have a brain, it's called. It's leveraged by our data team. And basically they're pulling from all of the main data sources across the world and using lots of what we'd call sales intelligence in the data. So intent data, hiring data, technographics, lots of things like that. I'm talking in complex words here, but the main thing is we're using sales intelligence to open that funnel out. So every contact that goes out is more likely to progress to the next stage of being interested and then booking that sales appointment as well. So yeah, Roman, data is really critical. And I know you and the team have got some neat automations in terms of cleaning data and accuracy of data, etc., which I'm going to say are trade secrets for us. But if anybody listening now wants to know more about them, then do get in touch.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I think that's, you know, if we go back to why everyone's here is without lifting a finger. I mean, the volume to sort of feed an outbound campaign, we're looking at least 1,000 people a month, right, on the various different channels. So to go and data validate 1,000 records is going to take, you know, at least, I want to say, if someone's really good addressing all the data sources, you're looking at least 10 to 20 records every 10 minutes. So the amount of time that you'll save using technology is just, you know, I can't even put a number on it because I don't know what you guys individually will do to source your data, but I could if you wanted to, and I'm happy to work that out with you guys as well. I think move on to the next slide before I make us run out of time. I think I'll say my piece here, Robbie, but I know that you have a lot of this human to human, which has become our tagline, I think, over the last few months, which I think it's really important, because if you buy B2B, unlike B2C, it's likelihood that you're buying from a human, from a person, and that means our approach has to cater to that. So things like attention grabbers. So for example, when you receive a LinkedIn message on your phone and it says hi first name, I don't know about you guys, but I ignore it. Whereas if I get a message on my phone that says sent as an attachment, I think to myself, well, who's this person sending me something as an attachment? I should probably check that out, right? And I'll click on it and I'll see the message. So Brian, if you actually jump to the next slide, something we do, and maybe what actually brought a few of you on the call today, is we can send hyper personalized images with AI. So in this example, a customer of ours sells stadium engagement software to increase the spend of viewers of different sort of sports games. And so one thing we did was we did this, which obviously makes sense once you have a conversation with our customer, but from an initial glance, it sort of opens the question of, okay, what's this about? You know, it piques the interest, attention grabs them. Okay, and the likelihood of someone responding to that, then hi first name, I do this, and this, and this is much higher. So that's some stuff that we use, which has, you know, I think differentiates us from most of our competition. And then obviously, you know, establishing someone's pain point, which went back to the trust thing, to, you know, and I like to use this analogy as, you know, we've all received an email from some prince in some country that's, you know, asking you for £100 to probably go buy a Panasonic, but claiming that he'll send you 10 million, right? Like, we've all been there. No one trusts that, right? No one answers that. And as part of outbound, when you're dealing with people that don't know, that trust element becomes really, really important, right? And the way we do that, and this is back to our proprietary tech, is something we call warm calling. So when you get a phone call from someone that reference a LinkedIn invitation or a LinkedIn conversation that you've had with someone else, in the last day even, or within the last 30 minutes, the likelihood of you trusting that person, right, goes up. And the likelihood of therefore you booking an appointment, also goes up. And that's what we're in the business of. So for example, the opener of a conversation, which is, hi first name, my name's Roman, I work at Sentrama, or hi first name, I'm just giving you a call because you had a conversation with my director yesterday on LinkedIn and you spoke about XYZ. I'm just following up because we'd love to have a conversation with you and see how we can help you, right? That intro, that 15 seconds when you have someone's attention on the phone, can drastically change the outcome, and increase conversions of appointments. So going back to, you know, generating appointments without lifting a finger, you know, to increase conversions and actually do that for our customers and for you potentially on the call. It's little tricks and tips like that with combined with technology that plays to people's emotions, which ultimately results in more appointments.
That's right. I think the only way that you can truly not lift a finger and book yourself sales appointments, particularly in 2024, this would have been different a few years ago, particularly now in the modern age, is actually combining all the tech, using some automations to your benefit, and then having a team that can actually deliver it for you, which is where you probably want to consider outsourcing, or if you have the luxury of staff internally, you need to make sure you really map that out and map the journey out, which you know, some of the other workshops in the future from us will cover out some of that. So it is really important. I think with the personalization piece, Roman, you bang on with, you can use automation to segment down data intelligently. You can then put that into a warming process, and as you were explaining earlier, the human to human piece or person to person pieces, gone are the days where you can just spray and pray and pitch people with cold contact. You have to know who the prospect is. You have to then be able to basically create something that's going to start a conversation with them. So these little automation tips that Roman was saying there, with the image that's personalized to the prospect, you know, if you're selling a SaaS solution, you're looking for tier one electronic suppliers, for example, you go out to the project manager at, let's say your SaaS solution is around project management and workflow delivery. You're going out to project managers as one of your key stakeholders you want to be talking to. You get the key stakeholder, you get one of the lead project managers at Panasonic. They need to know basically that you understand them and that the image that's served to them is personalized to them. You're far more likely to start a conversation with them from there than you would be if you just pitch slapped at them. So this is what the modern buyer is looking for now, and particularly when you're going out with new products, you have to basically show people they have that pain point. But you can't show them they've got the pain point until you get them listening, and that's where a lot of people are going wrong. So yeah, I always think about, okay, who am I targeting? Am I going for a big corporation like the Panasonics of the world, or am I going for a smaller B2B loan company, for example, where actually it's about the director and what they're trying to do because they're really busy at the moment. So there's lots to think about, and it's all about the setup of the automation, or all about the partnership that you take and making sure you've got somebody that really understands your end user and who you want to be pitching to.
Yeah. And I think we're all managing teams, sales teams, you know, sales directors on this calls, marketing directors, commercial directors, like saving money or spending money well is really important. So if you've gone to the effort to set up a team, hire the relevant people to do everything we're talking about, or have your engine generating new appointments, spraying and praying and not having a high conversion rate means you're going to get much fewer appointments. And as you know, as we're a performance, sales agency, but you're also performing to deliver appointments to then close more revenue. If you're spending X and delivering Y appointments, if you can get 2 times as many appointments from just optimizing these elements, then it's money and time well spent. And I think my job all day is just trying to make sure that we deliver more appointments from the same amount of volume, really, if it boils down to something. So lots and lots that can be done, and yet always willing to talk about it if any of you have any questions as well.
Cool. I think the final piece there in terms of the automation is also being able to analyze how you're getting on as well with it, which is critical. A lot of people think you can set up what you think is the perfect campaign and just let it run with all these automations, which is essentially playing a numbers game. And again, probably 3 years ago that did work to a certain extent in some industries, but right now you have to be. We're talking about personalization, we're talking about segmentation, but that's all fine in theory, but you need to be able to track your activity. You need to track what's actually happening with your live campaigns. Are they converting? Are they going from a target, a prospect, i.e. a piece of data? And are we getting their attention? Are we starting a conversation? Is that conversation compelling enough for them to then book an appointment with you? And if you imagine that slice, you've got data as a data person, getting the interest as a campaign manager and a creative person who needs to manage that process. You've then got to get them to say yes to an appointment, which is a sales person engaging with them or a marketeer engaging with that prospect. And then you've got the appointment, which is what the things that you really want to be sitting as a business owner or a sales professional. So there are slices of people's time, an expert time, that you need to be able to leverage to make all of that automated flow work for you. Yeah, it's very easy to get it wrong, but convince yourself you're getting it right at the same time. That's good. Thank you, Roman. Anything else you want to add there?
Well, talking about reporting, we have a great big Panasonic in the office, right, with hundreds of dashboards and stats and KPIs on the team and the campaigns performing, not performing, connection rates, reply rates, interest rates. One of the first things we rolled out 2 years ago was everyone was talking about clicks, opens, and links and all that sort of stuff. But when it boiled down to it, it's actually how much interest was generated from that campaign, right? You may have a campaign that's being opened 20% more than the other campaign, but actually what's converting on revenue, right? Because you may be targeting 2 different ICPs and one's way more likely to buy and convert. So interest becomes actually the more important metric. So it's things like that when it comes to reporting. That's also something we take very seriously with our lovely new dashboards actually that just got a rebrand just a couple of days ago.
Absolutely. I think the references to Panasonic there are excellent, because literally yesterday, I think it was, one of our team booked quite for one of the biggest SaaS technologies in the world, an appointment with Panasonic, which was fantastic. There were literally people running around the office like this, screaming Panasonic, 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 which was quite cool to see. So yeah, that's great, Roman. And I think being able to share that information as well as a sales leader, with your team or with your sales team or your marketing team, but also with the wider business as well, is critical. Yeah. So again, I think that's probably a masterclass for another time in terms of actually reporting on lead generation activities and booking appointments. Okay, cool. I'm very conscious of time.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Q&A. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, there's one that's come in for both of you actually. Having spoken to you, I know a level of information about this, but with the organizations that you work with, billion-dollar organizations right up to startups as well. What does the importance of each channel and the automation within each channel, is it more important for certain size organizations, or is it, as you said, Robbie, more in the setup and how you sort of position the campaign from the beginning?
it really does depend. I'm going to put the campaign manager hat on for this one, Roman. You might want to come from a technical perspective, but it really does depend who you're targeting. Yeah, so and what channel you're using, what the end goal is. So if you, again, let's go back to the tier one analogy. If you're going after somebody at Panasonic, yeah, you probably don't want to go spray and pray on email. You want to be actually being clever with a LinkedIn setup. We have a piece of kit that allows us to see who's active on the platforms and things like that, and then getting it to a warm call where you can build that relationship really quickly. Okay. On the other end of the spectrum, you might be looking at let's just say business to business loans to SMEs that have assets. Again, like a big Panasonic TV referred to earlier. That one, for example, would probably be, we go to LinkedIn. It's a very clear ideal customer persona. It's actually, you just need to get to the amount of people over the time. So for me, it depends on the campaign and the end goal to what the best outbound automation, blend of automation and people to use. But fundamentally, you've got to remember you've got LinkedIn, email, phone, physical mail. And to my knowledge, apart from turning up to someone's door, that is the only methods of outbound that you can use. It's about using that effectively, essentially.
Yeah, I'd echo that in that it's less about who you are, it's who you're targeting, right? A CEO of a big company, whether you're a startup or a big company trying to get in touch with them, they're checking LinkedIn maybe a lot or maybe not a lot, right? Again, Robbie said we have the tech to see that. But it's all about where is the person you're trying to target attention, and then how do you grab that attention? So off that specific platform or on the phone, LinkedIn, email.
Perfect. Well, that's unfortunately all we've got time for today. So Robbie and Rowan, thank you very much for sharing so much of us today. I'm sure that easy generating new business opportunities and the thought leadership on today's session, as well as the support that Sentrama can offer, is incredibly valuable. So for those in attendance today, thanks for your time. Our team will be in touch over the next 24 hours to gather some feedback. But again, thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Robbie and Roman. Enjoy your evening, guys. And yeah, thanks again.
I'd also just echo that is a free appointment for sure. So yeah, if you guys want to see how we work, how we do it, the technology that we have, then feel free to try us. Our team will be in touch to set up a call, but it really is a free appointment. We'll try our best to get you in front of whoever you want to, like the CEO of Panasonic, if that's who you need. We'll try our best.
Perfect. All right, thanks guys. Bye bye.